Cougs head coach Jimmy Rogers joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. And Jimmy, welcome on to the show. How's Pullman treating you?
It's awesome. It's been a little bit of a rush, but it's been great. The people here have been extremely supportive and been really helpful along this whole process. So I'm excited to get the journey going in a new place.
First off, nice to meet you, Coach. Go Cougs. How would you describe your journey to get here, man?
Yeah, it's been exciting. I mean, I haven't been a coach that's bounced around to a million places in my life. I've always been focused on trying to be great in my role and be where my feet are at. And when I had the opportunity to interview for this job, just the people that were a part of that process and what they were looking for, I felt like I fit that. And so it's been really smooth since I've taken the job. Probably couldn't ask for anything better. Just kind of this era of what college football has turned into. It's with the transfer portal and been unique a little bit, but getting to know the players, spent this whole month really trying to invest in the current team that's there rather than going out and rushing to get recruiting. This is the first week that our staff has hit the road. So kind of getting our feet wet here in Washington, and been excited to meet a lot of the players here in the state.
What intrigued you when you looked at the team and kind of saw like where the potential was, or maybe certain players that kind of, intrigued you and you thought, well, what can I do here? Is there any name or certain player or anything even about Washington State's affiliation or anything like that kind of stood out to you and intrigued you?
Well, obviously Washington State's a national brand. So coming here and, for one, seeing our players play in the bowl game with what was a little bit of a, I don't want to say depleted roster, but a roster that had a lot of guys that had taken a ton of snaps, not playing in that game because they were already in the transfer portal. And then a staff that, had already taken jobs at Wake Forest. And I felt like it was a unique situation that the players were put in. And then for them to come out and play the way they did, I mean, that was inspiring to me to watch, the heart on the field that was on display. So in watching that game, I felt really good about just the overall culture, because it's easy to maybe back down to a challenge like that or not play with the right type of energy and aspirations. And I felt like the team was really locked into giving each other their best and finishing the season outright. It didn't end that way. But you could see the heart on the field, and that was inspiring. But as far as the players, I felt good about the O-line taking this job. They returned many players, and in speaking to some of the current staff that was already in place, like they felt like the O-line was strong and the youth was strong. And then obviously Zevi had the experience in which he has had. He just may not have always gotten the opportunity. I felt good with the future quarterback returning and what that could look like. But there's a lot of talent on this team. There's a lot of youth on this team. And so I look forward to building this roster and what it could become.
Hey, Coach, how many coaches are you bringing over with you? And what do you want this program to be? Every coach has like their idea, and we're going to be this type of team, this type of team. Like, your initial thoughts on the program you want to build?
Yeah, we brought it pretty much every single coach from our staff. One of our offensive line coach, who was our offensive coordinator at my last stop, along the way, he accepted a Power 4 job at Northwestern. So he was the only one that's not coming over. But adding Mike Upati to the staff and Everett Thompson and Nick Alamola, I felt like those guys could add a certain type of dynamic for one, our offense with the two, one as a wide receiver and one as O-line, obviously, and then the D-line coach. I've known, Coach Everett for years, and I've tried to hire him numerous times at South Dakota State, and he was committed to his last place. But, yeah, as far as what I want to look like, I would say one that plays together, one that's extremely tough. Every time that you play us, I I want people to know who they're playing, and when they get done, say I don't want to play them anymore. And that's a certain level of physicality, but it also comes down to playing together and playing for each other. And I think that's easier said than done. It takes a lot of work going into that, but it starts with loving each other and being committed to one another. But yeah, fast, physical, and a certain level of toughness that's on display every weekend is important to me.
Hey, Coach, last one for me, and just a quick one. If I were to reach out to former players of yours and ask them, hey, give me one word to describe Jimmy Rogers, what's a word you would hope that they would use?
Intense, passionate, just kind of who I am. I love the players in which I get to coach, but I am, I coach them tough, and I'm honest with them, and I hold them accountable. And feel like I've been able to do that every step of the way, is live up to the words that I say that are important to me, and then put it on showcase by how I act. So, yeah, I would say tough, intense, probably passionate.
All right. Well, I'm sure it's been a whirlwind, but congratulations, Coach. This is going to be a really exciting season, and we're so happy to have you join us and just ask you a bit about who you are and your program, and we really appreciate the time.
Thanks, Coach. Go Cougs.
Awesome. Thank you. Go Cougs.